Hello everyone, my name is Shelby and this is the series where I reveal what is inside these mystery pottery molds I found on Gumtree. Hello, Merry Christmas, welcome to Mould 58, and when I say this mold is big, it is big. It is so heavy. It's one of the rare times where I use the bucket to fill it up. The reason why I use the bucket is because you want an even, consistent flow of clay going in there, because if you don't have that even, consistent clay going in there, what can happen is you can get some rings of the clay setting where you've poured it and then topping it up. You can see the mark on the mold. So I use the bucket, I pour it up, tip it out, let it set, I open it up to reveal. Look at this beast. I don't know how to explain how freaking amazing and beautiful and detailed this piece is. It is absolutely stunning. Absolutely delightful, absolutely wonderful. So this one is a old world Santa. So not your typical Santa, your more traditional, very beautiful coat, very beautiful detail of the bell, an older style face, less cartoony is how I would explain it, and more lifelike Santa. Here is the mold if you're looking at purchasing it for yourself. As I could see in the mold already, it's really beautiful. There's so much detail in it. The only problem is it won't fit in my kiln. So we've had issues with this before where the pieces have been too tall. But what I did was I managed to get it into the bisque fire by putting it on its side. Because I put it on its side, it didn't, and it didn't have glaze on it, it didn't stick to anything. You can stack things in the bisque firing and they can be touching. It's just when you add the glaze turns to like a lava and then like connects to everything. I'll get corrected in the comments about that comment, but it's pretty much it melts and connects with everything and you just don't want things touching. So that's why I can't put it in the kiln for a glaze firing. But I thought it was actually a perfect opportunity for me to use some of the beautiful paints I've got for the Mouldy biscuit kits that I have made, where you can paint your own pottery piece from these molds, and I'm giving these a massive whirl on this piece. So I'm using the autumn color palette, the winter color palette, and then the basics palette that come with each kit. The autumn and winter palette are additionals. I'm using these two palettes because the autumn has some really rich reds and greens that are perfect for Christmas, and then the winter palette has these really nice charcoaly blues that work really great for the features of the Santa. I go in and I must say that I think because it didn't fit in the kiln, this worked out for the better, because the pigment of the paints for these kits are just so lovely. They are so opaque, they are so rich, they're so vibrant, and I probably don't think I would have achieved this look with the glazes I have, and I was able to add so much more detail in there without it sort of fading out, burning out, having to do a gazillion coats to get the pigment strong enough on the piece. So I think it ended up working out better, and it was actually really lovely to work with a different medium. I've said that when I've used it before, but it's really nice to switch it up. It's a lot easier to apply because it's so creamy, it's so smooth, you can get so many little details in there. I really enjoyed this piece. So this piece in particular, when I opened it up, I thought of one person in my life in particular that actually collects these old world Santas. Like, they have them all over their house. It's not the cartoony Santa, it's this type of Santa. I should have done the research on them before I recorded this, but it's this Santa, and I thought I have to paint them one and gift them one for Christmas. So I painted this single one and I'm going to give it to them on Christmas Day. So I'm like praying they don't see this before Christmas Day, because otherwise I've spoiled their present. A while back when I got the molds, I also got a few little supplies from them, and one of them was these soft touch pastels, and I've never really had a reason or thought to use them before until this piece. The reason I wanted to use these is the pastels, I'm hoping I can do sort of like an antiquing effect on the beard and the coat details. So because I've never used them before, what I did was I did a little tester inside the piece to let that dry out and see which result I liked the best, and then continued painting on the rest of the piece and getting all the color in there. So as you can see, the like coat and the little hat, it has so much texture in there, but it almost feels a little bit flat without sort of, I guess, adding like a detail or a color. I added a little bit of gray paint, you can see in that on the left there of that frame, but it just wasn't doing what I wanted it to do, and I really wanted it to be like an antique, like what I've done with underglaze, and just a soft highlight of the texture. So the pastel I'm hoping will allow me to achieve that. So I've done a sample of just the pastel on the unsealed ceramic, and then I've done some sealant on the ceramic and then added the pastel to see how the pastel reacts and how it attaches itself to the ceramic best. In the end, the sample that worked the best was actually the sealed ceramic. So what I did was I then went over later in this video, I sealed it all up once I finished all the details I had painted on there, and then added it then. Sometimes when I'm editing the YouTubes together, I'm like, oh, should I put it all in the one section, then I did the pastel here and then this here, or should I do it how the process actually happened? And a lot of the time I opt for how the process actually happened, because I think it just keeps it real for me and a reminder of how long things take. I didn't just discover that the pastel worked on the sealed ceramic straight away. And I think it's important to know for you as well, if you are interested in trying some mixed mediums, maybe I'm doing a bit of the experimentation for you and helping you out there. So I must say that this piece not fitting in the kiln was actually a bit of a spanner in the works for me, because I had this whole plan to do the bell in gold and do like a luster firing and add the embellishments and make it really stunning. And I was having a bit of a downer, but you're getting to see the highlight reel of where I'm really happy and I know what the finished result looks like, and I'm so stoked that it went this way. But I actually had this copper foil, which I've never used before, and I didn't know how to open it, and that's why I broke that sheet. But I had this copper leaf detail that I bought for an earlier reveal. They didn't have gold at the stores, but I thought this copper is actually going to give it this really lovely vintage patina on the bell. I decided that instead of doing the gold luster, this is a way I can achieve that result without having to do that luster firing and make it very special and magical in its own right. And I think that's sort of important to show in this video, is that you can buy bisque, you can buy DIY paint your own pottery kits, and you can achieve some very special effects by using different mixed medias, from glitter to foil to pastels in this video. I think that that's a really important thing if you don't have access to a kiln for a glaze firing, that there are ways to achieve amazing results with stuff that you can buy from your normal art store. So here I am adding that pastel over the sealed ceramic, and I just added a little bit of pink to the cheeks and the nose to make it look a little bit like he's in the winter. And here is the finished darling. I absolutely love this piece. I am so happy things went the way they did. I am just so pleased that my vision came to life, and I think it came to life better, the fact that I couldn't fit it in the kiln, because I've used these paints that make it feel a lot more like that realistic old world Santa style that I wanted to achieve, which I think the glaze would have maybe taken away from that and made it a bit more cartoony and glossed over. I really love the foil on the bell. It brought the magic to life in this piece, and I'm really hoping the person I'm gifting it to is going to love it. I certainly do like it, so I'll just have to take it back if they don't and keep it for my own Christmas decorations. I love that I get to create such beautiful pieces, and the fact that I get to give one as a Christmas gift this year, it just feels so special. Let me know what you think of this mold in the comments. I'm really curious to see your thoughts and feelings. Thank you so much for watching, and here's your sneak peek for the next mold.